This is my Bourbon Podcast. And if you might have seen the news this week, you might know that your boy... Oh, go away, loopback update. Your boy is going to be going through some changes on the podcast soon. Which we're going to get into in just a bit. But it's good to be here. It's good to see you. I hope you're doing well. It's been a week, man. It's been a week. It's been a crazy week. Hold on, I got to do something. Liquid death. But it's not been a bad week. I want to dissuade some fears. I want to tell you that it's not been a bad week. Just different. I'm going through changes. Dramhound's on Twitch. Long time. Hope you're doing well, man. Good to see you, Dramhound. I hope you're doing well, too. Hope things are well. Oh, man. Let's see who's been here. Kyle Whippert's been here. Tony Bag of Donuts is back after his short little He's just been gone. Kyle also said Tony Kurt's the channel, MIA for 2 weeks, post a mutant parody, and now look at us. No. How could I have known that parody would lead to his departure? I didn't even know what I was going to say until the camera started rolling. That's fair. I'm not even sure Tony knew what I was saying until he watched the reel. That is entirely possible. Howdy, y'all. Very excited to try the Star Hill Farm wheat whiskey. I thought I'd never find. Max B, it's good to see you. Hope you're doing fantastic. That song belongs to Charles Bradley now, and you can't convince me otherwise. I completely agree. My short little what? Hiatus is what I was thinking of there. Oh, my goodness gracious. Well, let's have a pour, why don't we? Let's have a pour. What am I in the mood for tonight? Couldn't be a Knob Creek pick. Couldn't be. Why would it be? It's never. It's never a Knob Creek pick. Why would it ever, in a million years, be a Knob Creek pick? Before we get too far into it, let's talk about things for you to know about what's been going on with old Pear Bear. First and foremost, I just been working. I worked. I didn't get to take off on Memorial Day. I worked on Memorial Day, so I have not had much of a rest this week. I am a working man, working hard the best I can. But I did get to have some downtime on Sunday with the fam at Mom and Papa Ritter's house. There's so much new stuff on the screen. Where do I look? Yeah, the screen's a little busy tonight. I'll talk about that in a minute. I will remember you for that. Nice chill Sunday. But yeah, just been staying busy. I've had some design work this week too. But as many of you all know, the big news of the week, the biggest news of the week. Hang on, let me pull it up. Our dearly beloved Whiskey Mutant is leaving the podcast, leaving hosting duties of the podcast. Hello, Jeffrey Wack. Good to see you. Hope you're doing amazing. Now, it's been a tough week. It's been a tough week. But I want to talk about a couple of things first. The first thing is that Eric is going on to a new job. He has not been pushed out of the podcast. I did not say you need to change some things about your life and then figure that out. Once you figured that out, then you can come back to the show. That's not how it happened. After we got done recording, Eric said we needed to talk. And he said that he had a new job that was going to severely limit his time. And I said, I understood. He said, we got one more in the tank. And this one more in the tank is going to be our recording tomorrow. So, next week's episode will be Eric's last episode on This Is My Bourbon Podcast. I'm sorry if this is how you are finding out. After 4 years of being my right-hand man, of being my co-host, it is time for him to move on. Joseph Brazo's in the house. Hello, my friend. Good to see you. Hope you're doing fantastic. Eric is taking on a job that is so massive. I can't even begin to explain it. I'm going to let him maybe explain it more if he wants to during next week's episode. He was clearly your left-hand man. That is a good point. That is a very good point. So here's what I'm going to do. Here's what I'm going to do. Because that is not necessarily... This just in, Brazzers is moving to Kentucky to be the new co-host. Here's what I'm going to do for you. Because I don't know how many times I'm going to talk about this. I will probably talk about this on the podcast. Some. I will talk about this here. But I want to give you all kind of what's a rundown of what is going to happen with the show. First things first. TIMBP is not ending. Eric's departure is not a reason for the show to end anytime soon. And I don't mean that as like I don't mean that in terms of like he is the only reason that I was staying afloat, or that I'm saying this incorrectly. What I mean is that I know what you're saying here, Joe, and you're correct, but also that's not the sentiment that I'm trying to get across. The point that I'm trying to make is that I have a lot more left to do with this show. I have always felt like this show will go on for as long as it possibly can. But on the flip side of that, too, I'm not looking for a new co-host right now. And that's not even from a sentiment of, well, I can't replace Eric. I don't want a new co-host right now. I want to see where I can take things on my own. You've had to adapt through co-host changes before. You'll make it fine. Call Sarah. I am really, really excited about the prospect of what's next. And that doesn't mean that I will never have another co-host. That doesn't mean that I will immediately jump into the first option that pops up. But in the meantime, as it stands right now, we're back to a solo operation. And I think I'm a little nervous about it. I'll be honest with you. I'm a little nervous about it. You guys were a really good duo, but I'm excited to see what you do next. Eric is worthless. I mean, priceless. That's what I meant. I look forward to you interviewing people other than Eric. And that's going to happen too. There's a part of the, but I know, I understand your sentiment there, Joe. But Eric was never a replacement for, interviewing people. I wanted somebody to be a solid co-host that I could rely on every week. And it got to the point where it was comfortable where I didn't have to interview somebody as often as I used to, but now it does open it back up to be able to do more interviews. So it will change again, and will continue to change, and I don't know what it's going to look like. We're approaching 8 years of the show. We're approaching 400 episodes. Eric's leaving. So what you're saying is you're swearing off co-hosts. Like any good breakup, you'll eventually get a rebound co-host. Hey, man. When the right one comes. I kid, you're going to crush it as you always have. I appreciate that. I just don't know what's going to happen next, other than the show is going to continue. And that's all you have to worry about. And I appreciate, as always, the flexibility that people have given us, that have given me, as things have drastically shifted one way or another. I'm not upset. I'm not mad. I'm not frustrated. I'm anxious. Because I do have to reconfigure things. And it's not directed at Eric. It's not directed at anybody. It's just bring in Chad, My Daily Bourbon, have him co-host everything. Somebody did suggest that in the Discord, and I thought that was really funny. I just we'll get there. We'll figure it out. Yeah. But I want to be transparent about it, though. I am sad. Like, I am really bummed. I'm genuinely, like, I'm gonna miss having Eric as my co-host. I miss having Swan. I miss having Curtis and Tanner as my co-hosts too. It's such a drastic shift away from what I've been doing for the past 4 years, and it'll change again. I don't want anybody to think like, oh, he's just moving on because, you know, he's moving on this quickly because he doesn't care. I deeply, deeply care, but I'm also extremely happy for Eric and what he's doing. Raid the Bourbon Roundtable. They have too many members. That would be awesome, actually. Oop, okay, my mouse is just going rogue. In the end, though, we'll see. Swan. No, Swan is doing his own thing. Swan is in a very good place. I'm very proud of Swan in the life that he has cultivated for himself, away from whiskey, away from bourbon, away from being in a spotlight too. In my end, though, that is, you raise an excellent point. But yeah, we're gonna move on. Because I know that I'm gonna wind up saying something again, reiterating this point on the main podcast, at some point or another. But time for Baby Bourbon Boy's triumphant return. There was a thought that crossed my mind where I considered it. But you know, again, I'm not about to jump out and just outright replace Eric or have another podcast co-host immediately. I got to see what's next, man. I do have some projects that need to be done. You know, there's some things I want to have done with the podcast. Some interviews that I desperately need to complete too. So we'll figure it out as time goes on. But yeah, I'd be okay watching Emma every week. I do love Emma. All right. That's it. That's all I got for that update. I'm sad, but I understand, and I'm very excited for Eric. So that's that, man. That's all I got for that update so far. That's not to say that Eric isn't sad either. I mean, it's not like he told me and he was stone-faced. He shed quite a few tears. So, before we move on, Tony earlier brought up all the things that are on the screen right now. If you haven't been on in a while, there's a new thing with StreamYard where you can see what's the chat on screen. So that's one thing that's on screen now. Also, on the left-hand side of your screen, you will see a QR code. This is something that I mentioned last week I was going to throw up for people to screenshot and use the link for, or if you're watching on your TV or your computer. Tears of happiness? No. I mean, he was sad that he was having to leave. I mean, it's not like he was crying with joy that he was going to be leaving the podcast. He's happy about his job, his new job, because it's everything he's like worked for. But really, though, Eric is leaving you for Disney, and we all know it. If I like find out one day he's just living in Epcot, I'm gonna be like, what the heck? But anyway, this QR code, right here. This is a very simple destination for you, for nothing other than to raise money for Eastern Kentucky Mutual Aid, for the tornado victims from earlier this month. There's no formal like counter for donations. There's no formal like giveaway or anything. I just wanted to offer this up, as we have always tried to raise money for people, especially since I'm still behind on the LA wildfire giveaway distribution. I'm very sorry. As you can probably tell, I'm still trying to get things together in my personal life as well, to where I can just sit down and hammer that out. If I can do that this weekend, I will try to. I'm very sorry. Brian Brinicki, the real question on everybody's mind, though, is who gets custody of Pete? Eric can keep Pete. Good to see you, man. Hope you've been well. And if you are on your mobile device, and that is the easiest way for you to donate, take a screenshot of your screen. Go to your images, long press on the QR code, and it will take you directly to the website to donate that way. And of course, the QR code will be able to take you there on your TV or computer. Either way, though, I just wanted to offer this tonight during the stream. There's no formal like giveaway. I'm not like tracking donations or anything. It's just these storms were so massive and horrible, and I wanted to try to do anything I could to help out. Especially as a community, I thought it would be a good idea. So, as always, we wanted to help out. I also apologize. My brain's in about 18 different directions tonight. Tammy says, hi, Tony, but she's too lazy to pick up her phone and tell you herself. Hi, Tammy. I'm also saying hi, Tammy. Tony, sorry to piggyback on your hi. But, all right, let's dive into a little bit of news. I don't have a whole lot tonight, just some stuff to kind of touch on. Evan Williams Bourbon announces the 2025 class of American-made heroes to be featured on bottles nationwide. 6 veterans, as they normally do. It's just their normal 750s and their normal 1.75s of their 90 proof 1783. But it is a special bottle, special label. The 2025 Evan Williams American-made heroes are Ralph Galati from Pennsylvania, Chuck Ziegenfuss from Texas, Sun Nguyen from Corona, California, April Brown from Lexington, Kentucky. We got a Kentucky native? We got a Lexington native. Dadgummit. All right, well, we might have to link up with April. Alvin King from South Carolina, and Erica Walker from Oklahoma. Very cool. And I don't think, unless... oh, they've also got the handles, too. But these are always very cool-looking bottles. Support your troops. Support your veterans. We've got the schedule for National Bourbon Week, which is happening in a couple of weeks as well. 20 events with 11 distilleries located within 16 square miles. This is all happening basically around Bardstown. June 9th through the 15th. Bardstown Bourbon Company, 1792, Heaven Hill. Beam, Log Still, Lux Row, Old Steel House, Preservation, and Makers. I have a funny story, too. Not like... But for up until about a few weeks ago, I thought Fred No was my neighbor across the street. I think I've talked about this on the podcast. And then I discovered that it was definitely not him. And instead was another balding man with a goatee who looks a lot like Fred. Oh, I'm going to increase the size of my camera. Sorry. But the gentleman who lives across the street from me is very nice. But it's not Fred. And I'll go ahead and drop the link for the schedule in the chat for anybody who is curious, just so we're not sitting here and meticulously going through everything. Also, yeah, we're streaming on Facebook again tonight. I don't know if we'll do that every week, but I figured with the update about the podcast, it was a good idea. So maybe we'll go back to it. If anybody's watching on Facebook, holler, because I can't see individually on StreamYard who's watching where. Yeah. This is really interesting, and the way that I read this initially was that Jack Daniel's was rebranding, but it's just a new campaign to show off the core of their brand. It's called That's What Makes Jack Jack. And it's aimed at reaffirming the brand's long-standing identity and highlighting what sets it apart in the whiskey world. And it's celebrating traditional craftsmanship developed in partnership with the creative agency Energy BBDO, which sounds like an abbreviation for something big, something dick, something. I don't know. It sounds like it's an abbreviation you wouldn't want to say around your grandmother. When I honestly, when I first saw this, I genuinely was confused. And I still don't fully feel like Tammy says they're doing it because they think we don't know Jack. Tammy's got a good point. Jacking it with Jack. It's like, how much do you need to convince people who are already in the market for Jack Daniels to drink? You did make me say it, Kyle. You're not wrong. How many people do you have to convince that are in the market to drink whiskey at the level of just regular Old No. 7 to drink Jack Daniels? Does that make sense? Is anybody going, I really want to know more about the craft behind Jack Daniels? What am I missing about the story? Am I being cynical? I'm not convinced. Pour me another. I think I'm being cynical. But at the same time, I guess, I'd like to see the number of people who are just standard offering Jim Beam White labeled I can't even say it now. Jim Beam White label drinkers who are so staunch of supporters that they're like, I gotta go to the distillery. They just gotta go. I don't know. I'm curious. Jim Beam White label. Yeah, man. Oh, man. I just get offered to skyrocket my Instagram page's reputation of 10 to 100,000 followers right away. High quality followers for $1,013, $10,095, $20,147. Just barely going to miss it. Just a bit outside. Anyway, I mean, again, Jack Daniels is not hurting for. It can't be hurting for sales. I drink Jack No. 7 and I like it. Whenever I get burnt on high proof, I always go back to the beginning with 80 to 90 proof shelfers. See, that's also a good point. Sometimes you got to go back to the beginning, even as an experienced whiskey drinker. So what is this for? Who is this aimed at? And do you really want to? Okay. That's what makes Jack Jack. Reinforces the legacy and values that have defined Jack Daniels from the beginning. Do you really? Do you really specifically want to point to the heritage of Jack Daniels as a brand during a campaign in 2025? Is that really something that you are intent on doing? I'm just saying. Anyway, we'll see. If sales skyrocket, the values of Jack Daniel's Old Number 7, what, bar fights? It's good corporate speak. It doesn't really mean anything. I mean, you're right. Cheers, y'all. Is this a Perry rant night? Who knows, dude? Vic, I don't know what tonight is. I'm flying by the seat of my pants. I hope you're doing well, dude. It's very good to see you. We should talk soon. Good seeing you, brother. If sales of Jack Daniel's Old Number 7 all of a sudden go through the roof, like quadruple or something, I don't know. I will drink Jack Daniel's and nothing but Jack Daniel's Old Number 7 for like a month straight. Maybe not a month. Maybe like 2 weeks. Okay, maybe a week because I have to do a podcast. Milliman Green unveils the Answer Innovative Climate Study in Bourbon Aging. They got a Kentucky bourbon and a Texas bourbon to compare how evaporation works in the different areas. The Kentucky bourbon, you said a month, be dedicated. I'm intent on opening new bottles. Matt Porter's third blend of Barrel King for this round. Palate warming whiskey. I do like, no, you said a month. It's so aggressive. But anyway, the Kentucky got to 108 proof. And the Texas got to 116 proof. Texas loses about 10% per year, and Kentucky loses about 2 to 4%. Not really anything we didn't know beforehand, but it's very cool to see that Milliman Green took the actual experiment and put it into a product that you can actually buy. They're both in 53-gallon barrels, same mash bill. Both 5 years old, in different climates. 70% corn, 8% malted barley, 22% malted rye. I have not had, as far as I can recollect. Good Lord, the set is $150. I've not had anything from Milliman Green. I need to. This would be very interesting to try, for sure. Let's go through some labels. Not really any new releases to talk about too much this week. We got a new barrel finish select from Woodford Reserve, double oak that's finished in heavy toasted new oak. Apparently it's a permanent addition to their lineup. I don't know really what's given that away. But I guess... Is the heavy toasted new oak, is that what's different here? That seems to be what's different to me. I can't really tell for sure, like 100% sure. But I'm like 90% sure. Well, look at that proof. Is that just, it's just the same 90.4, right? I mean, unless it's... I mean, that's their standard, like, even with special releases. I know that Brown-Forman definitely does two different processes for 1910 and Woodford Double Oak barrel-wise, so I'd assume they're keeping it that way. So if that's the case, this is just the permanent addition, and they're revealing that their double oaked is in heavy toasted new oak. How interesting. How that seems really peculiar to me, that they would just outright say exactly what the process is for this bourbon. That's why I'm going, I think that they've done something a little bit different. Hey, it's Tony Joey with a picture of Jimmy Russell as his profile pic. Also, I was able to reconnect Stream Elements to Twitch. So you guys are able to see the chat on screen that's coming through on Twitch, too. You all aren't hitting the like? Hit the like. What's going on? Joe, the sample guy. Joe, it's good to see you. Hope your way. Well, either way, it's cool, but nothing to move the needle for me with Woodford at the moment. I mean, what would change? What would actually change with Woodford to move the needle for most of us? Honestly, for me, I don't have an answer, because they kind of just keep doing the same thing over and over and over again. And every time that I try it, I'm like, all right, age-stated barrel proof? Kyle, even then, if it were age-stated, for me personally, it would have to be at least into, like, double digits. I think it would have to be closer to something like 10 years old. Just add a number like Makers, at least for intrigue. I don't disagree with that, but I think that at least from what we know about their product, it seems like it needs a significant amount of age for it to be closer to what we would want it to be. I think it needs to be like a 10-year-old age-stated barrel-proof product. That's what I would like to see at the very least. So I guess I do have an answer. Tell me some barrel locations or something. Yeah. Speaking of age statements, and boy howdy, barrel-proof. Wah wah wee wah. Well, I don't know why I said that. Barrel whiskey decade, 20-year, finished in Spanish brandy and Hungarian oak casks. 20 years old, 142.7 proof. Distilled in Canada. It's a carefully crafted blend of whiskeys distilled each year from 1995 to 2005. Top floor 8-year-old, bottom floor 12-year. I don't know. It's not that hard to make things interesting. I don't disagree with you. I think that Woodford is just so comfortable with what they do that they don't really have any interest in going too far outside of that comfort zone. Somebody said Canadian whiskey, even at that awesome proof, that's probably a pass for me. Dude, we got to change the stigma around Canadian whiskey. We've got to change the stigma around Canadian whiskey. 20-year-old Canadian whiskey is just as good as some of the best 8 to 12-year-old bourbons. Shouldn't that be called decades? I feel like, well, we've already got decades from Wild Turkey, so maybe they can't because of, copyright, because of the implications. Will I get to try this? Probably not. Will I try to? Most likely. I will make an attempt. I will also make an attempt to try this. Goodness gracious, what's up with the ultra-aged high-proof stuff tonight? William Heavenhill Barrel Proof, 19 years old, 134 proof. Holy moly. Logan Beckonen. Look at this guy. Look at this guy. We got a founder of a friggin' whiskey brand in the chat. What is happening here? The man who made the bond. Actually in the chat tonight. Logan, it's so good to see you. I had some of the bond the other night, and I was reminded of how fantastic what you all do is. Road trip to Bardstown, 100%. Enjoying the show tonight. Thanks, man. Now I have to whip out my bond. Okay, Kyle, don't do that. Don't. There's kids around, man. Don't whip out the... But yes, road trip to Bardstown for the William Heavenhill Barrel Proof. Dude, this is going to be like a $500 bottle. I mean, honestly. I have more samples for you soon. I'm excited for you to try them. Dude, I cannot wait. $500 for sure. Yeah. Logan, I will talk to you soon. I will talk to you very soon, my friend. This product in particular, this for me, I just can't justify a $500 bottle right now. Usually ever. I mean, I've made too much of a stink before about a $500 bottle. I can very rarely justify it. Do I want it? Absolutely. At that price, good Lord. Good Lord. But I bet it's going to be amazing. I mean, it's everything I want from a Heaven Hill product. Ultra aged, barrel proof. It just sings to me, man. Same, but I'll still do it. Better this than the Calumet everyone's going crazy over. I think that's fair. Maybe we'll do some, splitting or something. Barrel Bourbons opened their vault and is now offering more than 24 of their rare vintage releases for sale. I don't remember opening this tab. I'd take Calumet 18 for $500. Oh, that's so funny. You didn't realize that Kyle put that. Is this why? Is this why Joe sent us Rye Batch 1? It's all the way over there. I'm not going to worry about it. Tony, we're fighting. This must be. They must have been preparing for this, and Joe and the team found Rye Batch 1 amongst it, and that's why he sent us bottle number 6. That's cool. I'm going to like that. We got a new fiddler from ASW coming soon. This is Encore bourbon finished in secondary oak casks. 7 years old. It's their wheated mash bill, 92 proof, or probably going to be 92 proof. I don't know. Man, I love Fiddler. I think ASW is just doing awesome stuff. And I... Oh, it's 10-year-old Starlight. Sorry. How on earth? 112.4 proof. I think it's supposed to be an anniversary release. I apologize. I looked at that and it just, my brain fried for a second. And then the Festivus Maximus with the Baltimore Ravens logo on it from Sagamore Rye. I'll bet it still tastes like Starlight. More than likely. More than likely. Limited edition bottle commemorating the Ravens' first world championship. 93 proof. I do love Sagamore. I was thinking about it recently that I have a bottle somewhere that I need to break out. But that, folks, is all the news that's fit to print. I told you, lighter news night tonight. Because we're so dang busy with everything else that's going on. I just poured this Four Roses OBSV. It's a 9-year, 8-month. Oh, this is the one from that I got last fall. It's really good. And I wasn't ready. I'm not ready to move on, so we're going to hang out before that. Sagamore 9 is nice. Starlight tasting like Starlight is still a very good thing. How long ago was that? I seem to remember the Eagles being champions. I don't know what I don't fully know what this label's about. Kind of confused me. But it's all good. I'm sure there's a reason for it. I just don't know what it is. Maybe Sagamore's like, you know what? Just in case. They got kind of close last time, so maybe it'll happen this time. Oh! Hang on. Look. 35. Because that's when they won, right? Yeah. Super Bowl 35. Why are they just now putting out this bottle? That's so bizarre. Is it coming out like next year for the... Oh, God. That would be the 25th anniversary. Because this happened in 2001. I don't know, man. It's just so strange of a time for them to do it. I would imagine that it's like commemorating some kind of anniversary. I don't know. Doesn't even add up to the age of the whiskey. I don't. The you know, trauma. Are you a Giants fan? I don't know how none of this works, Kyle. You got to be more specific here, man. All right. So if and you don't know, and you might not. There are now larceny barrel proof picks that are out there in the wild. Yes, in the wild. I just remember almost all of the Super Bowls in my childhood outside of that one. That's fair. That's hey. That's fair. And this is a larceny single barrel proof pick from one liquor barn here in Lexington, Kentucky. I mean, I'm sure it's out in Louisville too. I don't know. Kyle and I were talking about these earlier tonight. Howdy, folks. Cheers, Perry. Biking Bourbon. Good to see you, my friend. Hope you are doing fabulous. Bruce said it first. Said what first? What did Bruce do first this time? If you don't know, you can also go and bottle your own, write your name on it, and then leave it at TIMBP weekend. Oh, in the wild? Yeah, he did say it first. Kyle and I were talking about these earlier. I have not seen them anywhere yet other than Liquor Barn. And Kyle has pick number 1 from Liquor Barn. This one doesn't have a number on it. It just says Liquor Barn, Bardstown, WH 2024. I'm assuming WH is warehouse, but I don't know. Could be White House. Could be Willie Harrison. I don't know, man. But it's 8 years old and 127.4 proof. Oh, Rickhouse H1. That's where some of the barrels for the PGA blend for the Elijah Craig came from. Cool. I'm interested in seeing what you think of that barrel. We're going to find out here in a minute. Shout out Willie Harrison. Whoever. Man, I don't freaking know. How we doing, everybody? I'll be here for I don't know how long. Things are going real bad. I got one from Benny's and it's glorious. Mine's only 7. Yeah, I saw that this one was 8 and higher proof. And I said, well, why not? Because it's, higher proof. The other one that was around, and it's the one that Kyle got, was 122 proof. 122-ish proof? Where are you? And I wanted to compare it to a batch. Zopher, have you been here? Either way, it's good to see you, buddy. Hope you're doing fantastic. I also saw a 118 proof at Liquor Barn as well. Well, screw that, man. Brother, I hope you're doing fantastic. Just arrived. But I wanted to compare it to A125. Media sample. 6 to 8 years old, I suppose. So we got a single barrel versus the blend. The official blend. Hey, Emily Chambers has been here. Just quiet. This is just for my own posterity more than anything, but I figured too it gives you a good idea of where you should where you should go in terms of, hunting. I say hunting, but every single barrel is going to be different, but it could be a good indication of how the quality of some of these single barrels are going to be. The first round of the Elijah Craig barrel proof single barrels were not the best. I think they were good, but a lot of them were lower in age, like typically 8 or 9 years old. Once they started creeping up to like 10, 11, 12, they really started getting good, especially once they started getting higher proof too. It really helped. But anyway, all that being said, 8 years old, 7, 8 years old is really pretty typical for the Larceny barrel proof. It's crazy that some of them are as low as 118, like Kyle said, and I'm kind of surprised that 127 is as high as I've like this one that I have. But being a proof hound, I figured I may as well go for the higher proof if I'm going to spend $75 on this bottle. But anyway, I'm comparing to B523 and C923, aka Minnick Sweat Dreams. Hey, C923 was my bourbon of the year in 2023. So, watch hours and stuff, I appreciate you. So, we'll start with the single barrel. I opened it a little bit earlier because... and I forgot to say this too. And it's going to be a little while before it's out, but if you guys remember a couple weeks ago on the podcast, also Perry's Wet Dream apparently. A couple weeks ago on the podcast, I interviewed Don Davies and Bridget Albert for the International Wine and Spirits Competition. Bridget has her own podcast, the Served Up Podcast. I recorded an episode of Served Up with her this afternoon. And it'll be just over a month before that's out. And I cracked open the Larceny while I was recording with her. So, yeah. I'll talk more about it once that episode's out. So, hope you check it out. It is very, very, like, C19, great Steely Dan song. I don't think I've heard that Steely Dan song. It's very, like, frosted cereal, kind of frosted Cheerios. A little barbecue-y. Quite a bit of ethanol. Little woodsy, though. I like this nose. I'm not going to lie. Let's dive in, though. Play on Hey 19. Oh, gotcha. Kind of more of the same. Which is not a bad thing, but it doesn't really go any different. Hey, look at that. Emily. Sub to Served Up and be ready for Perry. I just took a drink of the single barrel. Honestly, I think it's really quite good. It's dark. It's a little ethanol heavy. There's a nice kind of like floral punch that happens towards the middle of the palate. But it is really well-rounded for an 8-year wheated bourbon. A single barrel 8-year wheated bourbon. I'm deeply impressed with this. I'm not going to lie. Especially with how frustrated we've been at times with LARCENY, just kind of as a brand. Oh, I know I mentioned. I just appreciated that you shared it, Emily. The barrel I have is so sweet, it's literally like drinking a Reese's cup. Really? This is not that at all. This is nuanced. This has space and layers. I find links is what I do. I appreciate that. Hey, I want to remind you, too, if you would like to donate to the Eastern Kentucky Mutual Aid Fund, the QR code on the screen is how you can do that. We are raising money. Really not in any, serious capacity, but just to help out our neighbors in the East and in the South after they have been affected by tornadoes earlier this month. If you're on mobile, you can screenshot. Actually, you might be able to just do it. Let me check something. Let me check something just from. Oh, my volume was all the way up. It's the only way I've ever known how to do it. Yeah, if you screenshot on mobile and long press the QR code, it'll take you to the website to donate. But of course, if you're watching on your TV or your computer, you just take a picture with your phone or open up the camera, do it that way. No giveaways or anything, just wanting to help people out. We appreciate anybody who donates, but also no pressure. It's there. Just wanted to offer that up. I'm sure you all have seen how deadly and awful and intense the tornadoes were, these storms were, off the back of storms that also happened earlier this year, too. So, yeah. It's been a whirlwind, man. Literally and otherwise. So, moving on to A125. A little thin but fun, could be a really good top note of a blend, but feels very one-dimensional. I imagine that when Liquor Barn did the pick, they were probably just trying to do a Daphne's, what's going on? So good to see you. Always appreciate you just stopping in and saying hey. Very, very good to have you. I hope you're doing well. What I was going to say, Kyle, is I imagine that they were just trying to find an array of barrels. Would make the BT fanboys crumb. I'm a huge fan of the naders that hit open fields and make beautiful photos and videos. I mean, tornadoes are like a spectacle. Don't get me wrong. I just wish they weren't so destructive. I mean, I know that's like What a crazy take for this guy to have. Whoa. But I know what you're saying there, Tony. In our old house, and for those of you who are familiar with the view that we had on our old house, it backed up to a horse farm, which was pretty much just an open field. And our backyard was very open too. But anyway, we were very worried of the potential for tornadoes back there. It was not the main reason, but it was an influential reason for us to move to. Low-key would love to get together and see if we could blend something out of these two. Dude, I'm totally down. Totally down. Would be happy to see you. It's been a while since we've hung out. All right, A125. It smells mustier. I don't know about this one. I haven't had it in a hot minute. There's not nearly as much going on. I thought the same thing. The barrel proofs all have this funky, musty character in comparison. That's not bad. I mean, truly, it's not bad. It's really rich. It's very nougaty. It's got a nice green apple note on the finish. But overall, I gotta be honest with you. No, there's no comparison. The single barrel lights up my palate with these incredible, just dark chocolate, barrel proof barbecue notes. The single barrel is phenomenal. I'm also not saying that the A125 is bad. But I think I would rather spend a little bit more money. Oh, it's so peanut buttery. Kyle, I think the A125 is closer to what your single barrel is. But I think I would rather spend a little bit more money and get one of these single barrels. Honestly. It's got so much character to it. Oh, man. It was nice. I have to check it out. I still think the single barrels are a high value quality buy. I completely agree. I think if the quality continues, I don't see. All right. Oh, I might be out of Weller Foolproof. There's got to be a flight. There's got to be a wheated, cast strength, high proof bourbon flight now. Oh, I guess Maker's cast strength isn't really a single barrel, is it? Dang it. I don't know. We'll figure something out. I mean, there's got to be. We're getting there. 8-year cast strength wheated from a legacy distillery. The only place almost doing that is Maker's cast strength. That's what I'm saying. Like, what I was kind of getting at is the notion that LARCENY barrel proof single barrel is probably going to turn into a go-to for me. That single barrel is going to win over the shelf cast strength. I mean, probably. Yeah, it's not even really like a good fair blind, is it? If these single barrels maintain consistency, I'm going to have them regularly, I would imagine. At this point in time, I agree. I want them to be very good. I want them to stay very good. However, I don't know. I'm crystal ball's not working, man. Can't see no crystal ball, you know what I mean? Can't see nothing. Oh, the video's not working on Facebook? Hey, could somebody do me a favor and see if they can watch the video on Facebook? It's nice to know that they didn't put out a bunch of similar tasting single barrels, though. Oh, a contender could have been Old Elk. Yeah. Old Elk never tickled any of my fancies. Yeah. Why is the Facebook Live video not working? No, it is working. It's just not working on my desktop. Weird. MGP weeded profile is kind of whack in my opinion. No offense, Jeffrey. I don't know if I ever really had anything from Old Elk where I was like, I gotta have more of this in my life. They sent us that one like Infinity Blend. Lord, in like 2022. On New Year's Eve, I think is when we got it. Why am I getting a Skype call notification? Where is that coming from? Hello? I like the Infinity Blend. The double wheat is amazing, and I have the Junkies pick. Why did... That is so strange. I literally just got a Skype call notification in my headphones, and I don't know where it came from. I'm so confused. There's a ghost in the machine. I don't know what's going on. Is it an ad somewhere? I'm so I'm so confused. It had to have been an ad. Because, I mean, I don't have... Why would I have Skype up? I thought Skype was dead. I don't know. Anyway. It sounds like I'm losing my mind. Honestly. And it's not something you all could hear either, because I think I have... I have Chrome muted on here. Anyway, it doesn't matter. All right. I'm going to call it a little bit early. My brain is fried. I love y'all. This has been a great stream. Thank you for hanging out. Tony, why are you calling me? Tony, why are you calling me? Tony! What was that about? I love you all. Thank you so much for everything. It's Tony trying to get a live feature. I don't know, man. Yeah. Future's looking bright, I hope. I love y'all. I appreciate you. We're going to be going strong, I hope. We will. See you next week.